Alright, how's everybody doing? Alright, so it's time to meet the 4L60E to the motor. This has been a big pain in my ass, I'll tell you. It's really not that complicated, but it is. Alright, so the motor's out of a 2005 Escalade, 6.0. The transmission come out of a 1999 S10 with a 4.3. Okay, so I had the original flywheel on this engine. This one right here. When I had that, both of that flywheel and used that transmission, the converter was way too far away. Like a half an inch away. And that's because back when they first built Chevy engines, we'll call them small block, big blocks, before the LS engines. They were about 4/100ths of an inch longer than an LS block. So how you make up that difference is you buy a spacer, which I did. So I put the spacer on. I put the flywheel on. I went to install the transmission. And while I'm at it, when you see these converters, make sure they're all the way in, 3 clicks. As you can hear, this one's almost it is bottoming out on the back. You know that's all the way in. And I'll explain that why. Spacing is very important. Alright, so back to the flex plate. I put the original flex plate on, and I mounted the transmission, and I was way too far away, hence the short block. So I bought the adapter, hoping that it was going to bring everything closer, and it did. Everything fit, except the converter was hitting tight on the bolts. It had no play, which meant that it was set all the way back, and I guess torque converters move forward. That's why they call it a flex plate when it's attached to it. I had no room to do that. It sat nice and tight in the snout, but it was too tight converter to flex plate bolts. So I said, all right, let's go with the 4L60E, the original flex plate, where these mounting bolts holes that go to the converter are the original ones. I had to oblong these out on the original flex plate just to fit the converter. Alright, so we're no longer using the flex plate that came with the truck. So now back to the 4L60E. I know this gets confusing. I hope you can follow me. This is the original flex plate to that transmission. So the bolt holes that mount to the converter are okay. The problem I have is this bolt pattern that bolts to the crank flange. It's different. So what I did was I put them back to back. I aligned them with the spacer, and I had to oblong some of the holes. This is a common thing. I've seen other guys have done it, and they've gotten away with it. I'm gonna go with this for mock-up reasons. I want to get this motor and transmission all in one piece, so see where it falls on the cross member. So I'm gonna use this temporarily until I find the one with the right bolt pattern and the right spacing for the converter. That's where we're at. I hope I didn't confuse it too much. Any questions, leave them at the bottom in the comments, and I'll answer them the best I can. Alright, so for now, I'm gonna mount this to the motor, the 4L60 flex plate, and try to mate it with the transmission and see what we got for spacing. Okay, the 4L60 flex plate is mounted to the engine. I'm gonna mate up the transmission, and we'll check the clearance then. Okay, the 4L60 flex plate is mounted to the engine. I'm going to mate up the transmission, and we'll check the clearance then. Okay, I got it mounted. Just attached it with a couple bolts. I'll show you what I mean about spacing. Alright, there's a mounting pad on the converter, and there's the hole in the flex plate that the bolt goes through. It's like an 1/8 of an inch space, and I believe that is the maximum that I can have. I'm not sure if it's 3/32 to 1/8, but that gives me room to pull the torque converter off the back of the transmission without pulling it out of the splines or whatever is in the back. So I got LS engine, spacer, 4L60E flex plate that oblong to fit the LS flange on the crankshaft, and the 4L60 converter. Alright, I think that's good to go. Alright everybody, it's like around 8:30 Friday night. The motor's sitting in. It's in the mounts. It's pretty much where it's going to be. Still a little bit close down in there. Take a look. I say where it's supposed to be because it lines up at the original mount in the transmission. The cross member fell right in place and the drive shaft's in, fits. So we're golden. Now, if I need to move it ahead a little bit more, I can notch this cross member and bring it forward. But all in all, we're in good shape. I got plenty of clearance on the oil pan. I had to re-notch it a little bit for a drain plug, but we got clearance. Alright, so basically, I'm going to pull it out one more time. And I'm going to pull it out one more time. If I can't get the right flex plate, I'll have to use the one that's in there, even though the hole's got elongated around the crank flange. But I got Loctite them, torque them on. Put all the bell housing bolts in the transmission, put them on, torque converter bolts, and that'll be it. The last time then I'll have to pull it out. I just got enough clearance for the AC. Belt spins, belt fits. We're gonna send it. Papa Kenny's gonna send it. Plenty of clearance on the power steering. My manifolds were supposed to be in this week. I checked to see if they had shipped them, and Holly had an update that said I wasn't going to get them until August. So, without getting into a long story, I canceled the order. Summit had them in stock. I will have my manifolds by the middle of next week. Alrighty, everybody. We're moving right along on Rattle Can now. As you can see, little bit by little. Big hurdle getting everything to fit where it's supposed to fit. Alright, keep an eye out for an update. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.